What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with a quick look at these LGRP billet axles. These things are freaking sweet looking in hand. I'm pretty excited to get these installed, mostly because I built this thing. This is the Dementor SS. I built this and ran it for maybe 10 minutes, and the OGRC axle just died on me. I contacted them. Now, this has been a long time ago. I contacted them about a replacement for it, and they didn't have any. They said, "Oh yeah, we'll send you a whole new set out." I waited 2 or 3 weeks, emailed them back, nothing. Finally, they said, "Yeah, they're almost ready. We'll send you out some and a whole new set of axles." And then the next time I emailed them, I didn't hear anything from them. So they just kind of ghosted me on these. These were the +5 or whatever they are, but they're junk. Don't buy them. So we're going to put these LGRP axles on here. I am pretty excited to get a set of these and run them. I had the very first edition way back when they first came out, and I just had issues. I broke them and lots of problems, but they have really stepped up their game with these, and man, they feel crazy smooth. So really excited to get these installed and actually have some axles on this thing that I can run. So I'm going to go ahead and get these put on. I did get the brass steering link for them. I've got the battery on axle mount here from Hardpark that works with them. So I'm going to be able to get rid of this tray and just kind of move my battery up to the axle. So hopefully this thing will be ready to slay some lines. So I'm going to start getting this together, and then we'll take a look at them once I get it all installed. But you can see these things, very nice quality. Look at that. And they're pretty lightweight, actually. 31 grams for that axle right there. So we'll check the rear here real quick just so you guys know what we're weighing in on it. 29 grams on the rear. So these are going to be very nice. One good thing about these is the way they're made with the diff cover on the back. It gives you this nice clean edge on the front. And then these are the +8, so we're going to be setting wider like I wanted this rig to be from the get-go. So with the wider axle, you're not putting wideners on, so you're not going to get that scrub radius and lose a lot of steering angle. And you're gaining 8mm width per side over like a stock axle. So you've got some really nice width to these without having to go adding wideners and all of that, which just hurts performance. Yeah, it helps you be a little wider, but it hurts on your steering and stuff, and makes it harder on your axles, honestly. You can see I did put the Hardpark low blow knuckles onto these just because I needed a little more weight up front. I ditched the hangers and the super wheels because I'm just not a big fan of those, and I really prefer these tires right here are great, and these wheels probably not going to be what I run on here. I feel like I could use a little more weight in the rear, but look how clean these axles are. There may not be a better looking axle on the market. I mean, they just look amazing. So this build is really coming together in the looks. Now that I can get a little runtime with it, I'll have to kind of dial it in to get a little more performance. It's still just not where I want it. And going back to SCX24 axles, I'm running 3S on this, and it just don't have the pop to get over a lot of stuff that I'm used to hopping over. Like that should be simple, and I kind of had to go a little farther to the left to be able to get it. There's lots of lines where I just didn't have the wheel speed that I wanted. So I don't know, maybe a motor change, maybe pinion change. It's never ending with these SCX24 axles. I just feel like I can't get the speed that I want, you know. I did be a little rough on these axles. I wasn't super tough on them, but this hop here is one that you need a lot of pop. This chassis is set up very well. I've got tons of clearance. I should be able to hop right over that, but just not having that wheel speed really holds me back. Whereas like my builds with even the TRX 4M axles or the FCX axles, I'm able to just hop right over that. Doesn't matter brush motor or what. Like honestly, I can put a 3S in those things and just hop right over that. So that's where I'm talking about, like the SCX24 axles really I'm not a fan. Worm gears, You know, I had a low-C Nightcrawler, 10th scale, perfect example. The thing is crazy capable. I did some mods to it. People were blown away by how capable it was, but there was always places where it was just limited because it didn't have the wheel speed to get over stuff because it has worm gears. There's a reason that we don't really run worm gears in 10 scale, and that's kind of why. But you can see this climb here, it just don't want to hook that front and get over this, whereas stuff like my Slayer will just eat this alive. This thing is nowhere near on the performance level of my Slayers or my original Dementor. So, you know, I've got a little work to do trying to get it sorted out. Honestly, I don't know. I may spend a little more time with it. I may end up selling it. So if anybody's interested, let me know. But I'm not looking to sell it right now. I'm just not sure I'll have a whole lot of time to fiddle with it when I've got others that I prefer more. But that's just how it goes. But the axles performed great. I was actually, like I said, I was pretty hard on these, and I was really a couple places I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to give it full throttle. If they break, like, I want to know if they're going to break. And I had no issues. I think these are beefed up from the originals. Definitely a great SCX24 axle. I do have the new Mofo axles on the way. Those look super meaty. Excited to run those, but after running these worm gears again, I really kind of wish I hadn't bought them. But they do look like a very solid, well-built axle that have some really cool features. So we'll take a look at those eventually. Overall, this thing, it's doing pretty well. You know, it's not anything that's going to blow you away. You know, for the way it looks, you would think it would just be amazing. Like I said, it's got tons of clearance, the high clearance links and everything. It just looks really good, but it just performs like okay, in my opinion. It definitely has room for improvement, you know, and that's partly because I just haven't spent much time with it. I built it, and like I said, I may have ran it 10 minutes and the axles were shot. So I haven't put any tuning into this really yet. So with a little work, I'll probably like it much better. I just feel like I may have to do some changes to the motor or gearing because I'm never going to have the wheel speed I want the way it sits. But if you guys seen my short video on these axles, I wasn't like trying to be negative on these axles. I think they're great. Like I said, they're the best looking SCX24 axles probably I've seen. And I think they're going to be very good axles. I was just trying to show, like, people always comment or message me and be like, man, I wish my stuff would go together like the way yours did. Like, I'm having so many problems. And I just like to show you guys, like, stuff don't always go easy for me either. You know, we've all built these things and put everything all together and left a bearing out or something, you know, like, it happens. And that was really what I was showing with that video. It's crazy the amount of people that, like, can't handle any negativity. Like, if it's not just all sunshine and flower farts, like, people they just trip out, man. Like, people attacking me, like, I don't know, I don't care. It's just really funny how people are trained and conditioned to listen to the 100% positive all the time, and then when I mention something negative, they want to lash out and, like, come at me, you know, for pointing out something that is an error, you know, like, big freaking deal. Get over it. But it's kind of funny. I almost enjoy it. Maybe I should do it more, you know. I did decide to run the Hardpark steering link because it's kind of offset to go around the battery on axle mount. So I didn't use the brass steering link. I have a set of these axles actually in the plastic version as well. So maybe I'll use them down the road. I don't know. Or I'll just sell them all together. But these are some of the top-notch axles. These are the best axles that I've ran for the SCX24 so far. They're super clean. The added width, it's what we do to all of our SCX24s. You know, we always widen them out. So with these, you're already sitting wider straight away. So that's nice. I may end up going just a little bit wider with like a different wheel or something, adding a little more width, because my man William hooked me up with some universals for these that give you like some crazy steering angle, and I'll link them in the description. They're always out of stock, but he found those and put them in his and was getting like some crazy steering angle. Right now, I'm limited. I couldn't get any more anyways because I'm with the battery on axle mount. I'm hitting the battery or the servo, whichever way I turn. So I couldn't get any more anyways. But if I go a little bit wider wheel, I could probably use a little bit more steering. So I may do that later. I'd like to get more wheel speed, but you can see this thing has some potential. That little hanger right there, that's pretty good. That's a fun line. And overall, I'm sitting pretty light with this thing right now. And that's a plus, you know, because I can kind of add the weight where I need it without going overboard. So if you build super heavy right away and then you find you need more weight here or there or whatever, you know, you can get out of hand quick with the weight. So I like to kind of go lightweight and then just add it where I need it. And I don't know why I'm really getting hung up right here, but I was. It's weird because like I used to really didn't care much for portal axles. I liked straight axles all the time. And now that I've been running portals a lot with the FCX axles just because they're so strong, I've got to where I miss that clearance sometimes. Like I just really catch a lot. But you just kind of got to choose your lines a little better, you know, instead of plowing through things. I'm getting this weird kind of like notching. See that when I'm going down? I don't know what's binding up there. I cut my rear drive shaft. I thought it was just a tad too long and it was like meeting and causing some kind of glitch there. I don't know. It's weird. I can't make it do it just holding it in hand. It may just be kind of the overdrive tugging on the rear, but it's not cool. Like it, of course, the cat is out here while I'm crawling, but it's giving me this weird like jumpy thing when I'm going downhill. So it's usually just on like really high grip, so it may just be the overdrive. But if you guys have had like a similar problem, let me know. Like I've had tons of overdrive in rigs and don't really have that problem. So maybe the way the axles are clocked or something, I don't know. But handling this pretty well, straight down that, no issues. Most of the course, very easy. The tougher lines that I normally run this type of rig on, though, it just wouldn't do them. Like the lines I hit with the Slayer, even the original Dementor, some of those lines, it just wouldn't even touch them. So I've got work to do to line this thing out, but these axles are no comparison to like a stock axle. I mean, just completely different world. You know, you get like something like 25, 27 degrees steering angle with a stock axle, and these were getting like 40 or so. With the universals, I think we would get even more than that. So they are definitely an awesome axle, huge upgrade over stock axles. So if you're looking at going wider, honestly, by the time you buy like wideners and do all that stuff, and then you're constantly replacing dog bones from stock axles and that sort of thing, you're definitely better off to put the money into something like these axles, in my opinion. They're definitely a good upgrade for anybody with an SEX24. Just a no-brainer. They are the best SEX24 axles I've ran. I haven't ran the Mofos yet. I'm going to like the beefiness of those, and the front C-hubs are clocked a little bit, I believe, so that's going to be really cool. But I feel like the SEX24 is behind. You know, the axles especially, and the RTR is unreal how far behind they are. But for me, like I ordered the new SEX24 just because I'm running this channel. If I wasn't running this channel, there's no way I would buy another one. You know, I probably wouldn't even own any more at this point. But when something like the LC80, the new one that just came out with the 2-speed, the FCX18, with the 2-speed, a brushed motor and everything, and it can almost go up this in low and launches right up it in high. When that can go up this with ease, and this thing can't get up it, but just because it don't have the wheel speed on 3S with brushless, pretty insane to me. You know, it tells me like something needs to change, and I don't know, Axial's not going to change it, and most people won't say that the SX24 is basically dead. There's too many people that have too much invested into it. You know, a lot of these companies popped up because of the SEX24. They want to continue selling all these parts that they've already developed and stuff for it. So they're not going to say they're not, you know, that they're way behind. They just want to sell more stuff. So, like, I feel like even though there's way less aftermarket for the FCX24 axles and even the CR18P, and a lot of people will say they're junk, but whatever, like I'll take one and run circles around this, just because they've not sat still for years like Axial. They've made moves. The new Fury Tech Fury Wagon, the thing almost stock, will run this line, and I can't even get up with this thing that I've got tons of money in. Don't mean the chassis is not great. It don't mean these axles for what they are not great. I'm not dogging any of this stuff. I'm just saying I think the SCX24, it needs to be updated. We need an overhaul of all of the stuff. You know, these axles, they're great. They're about as good as you're going to get, but they are what they are. They just don't work for me anymore. You know, I really wish I'd just built this on some TRX 4M axles or a mullet build like I did the Slayer with the 4M front and FCX rear. I would definitely have the wheel speed that I want and just be performing better overall. I'm not trying to say any of this stuff is bad. It's a very nice build if you want to just go straight SCX24 stuff. But unless you start kind of building those Frankenstein builds, you really don't know. I mean, but once you start doing that, it's a whole different world, and something like this just don't even compare. So you guys let me know what you think about it. Overall, I think these are great axles. Not trying to dog them at all. They're just SCX24 axles. You know, I'm not a fan, but I appreciate you guys sticking around. Let me know what you think, and I'll link everything in the description. Peace.